Now, Ohio State wrapped up spring ball over the weekend with their annual spring game at Ohio Stadium. It was a defense that stole the show. Now, Team Gray, the defense, defeated Team Scarlet 35-26 in a modified scoring format, and for long stretches, the defense dominated. It wasn't even close. So the defense held the offense scoreless for 7 straight drives, showing how good this defense could be coming into the season. Now, for the quarterbacks, start with Julian Sayin. Year 2 for him, Heisman finalist last year. Only played a few drives. They had the cleanest environment to operate in due to the O-line struggling throughout the spring game. And the O-line missing key starters, so that didn't help. But he did show there were some good things. He had an opening drive touchdown, a 15-yard run touchdown. So that is good for everyone that wants to see him be a willing runner. That's a good sign there. He had a 15-yard run near the sidelines for a touchdown, showing mobility there. Also had probably one of the best throws of the day to Nate Roberts in a tight window. Nate Roberts was supposed to be the starting tight end for Ohio State. He had an interception as well on a batted ball, but overall played well in a few drives. The main takeaway for the quarterbacks was Tavian St. Clair, the backup QB, former 5-star talent. He had 166 passing yards, 166 for passing yards, and a 40-yard touchdown pass to true freshman 5-star Chris Henry Jr. He played aggressive throughout the entire game. He extended plays with his legs running around. And so his 6'4" frame, the future is bright at QB. He made some plays, and this is going to be someone who can be a key backup for Ohio State. If anything happens to Sayin, it's someone that OSU can be confident in heading into the season at quarterback, but also for the future. Him and Chris Henry Jr. Will be the star tandem next year, maybe another year if Tavian St. Clair stays. Again, who knows? With that arm talent, he could be there for one season as a starter and leave. That's how talented he is. But as far as QBs, it's clearly Julian Sayin as the starter at this point. But the future is bright at QB with St. Clair. Wide receivers, all eyes were on Chris Henry Jr., and he delivered. 5-star freshman had 96 yards and a touchdown. So nearly 100 yards on the day. And show why he's a top-ranked prospect, why he was a top-ranked wide receiver in this class. 6'5", ranked size and speed, separation ability. And look, he looks like a day one starter already. I don't see why he won't be a starter at this point. None of the other wide receivers showed that they were going to outplay him. So at this point, it looks like Jeremiah Smith, Brandon Ennis, and Chris Henry Jr. that'll be the starters. I want to see more from the transfers, Devin McEwen and Kyle Parker. But overall, wide receivers, Brock Boyd, he had a nice catch near the sidelines. They called it out of bounds. The quarterback threw out of bounds, but it was a nice catch near the sidelines and good route. So I think Brock Boyd will play as well. There were reports for spring camp that they're going to have like 5 to 6 receivers playing in the rotation. That's still going to be true. Based off the spring camp reports, what Ryan Day was saying, but we didn't see all of that yesterday from the depth. But we'll see more throughout fall camp heading into the season for the wide receivers. But if you're looking at just the starters, Chris Henry Jr. and Jeremiah Smith could be the best duo in the country. I don't see why that wouldn't be true, because that's how good Chris Henry Jr. was. There's a reason why Jeremiah Smith recruited him. He didn't recruit any other receivers in his time at Ohio State, but he recruited Chris Henry Jr. And now you see why. Very talented receiver, another addition to wide receiver U. Now, for the defense looked great. It looked disruptive, especially up front. Defensive line played well. There weren't any running lanes, and they were getting to the quarterback about the entire game. Had about Bo Atkinson. He had an interception and a sack on the starting offense, not just the backups. And so secondary made plays too. You had Blaine Bradford there making plays. Jalen McClain doing well. Overall, the defense looks like it's going to be in their top 5 year, top 5 unit. Matt Patricia once again. Now that could be very important. The offensive line doesn't get better. Now there were key injuries. You had starter Austin Saravell was going to be a starter. Philip Daniels, they were both out with procedures. The group didn't settle in. They didn't settle in yesterday. Carter Lowe had a tough day at right tackle, giving multiple pressures and sacks. So there weren't any like running lanes that I really saw from the game. So that's the offensive line you see at Texas. It's going to be a long day for Julian Sayin, but there's time for this group to gel and get healthy and be ready for the season because they definitely struggled on Saturday. So at running back, they were very thin at running back. They had 4 running backs already out, and like I said, the O-line did not give them many lanes. So you had freshman Favor Key and senior transfer Jacoby Jackson from Florida. They played a lot. Find out more about this unit in the fall, during fall camp. But it would have been good to see Legend Bay and Terrell Rogers play in this game, especially for the fans to see how good Legend Bay is. But to wait for fall camp to have more evaluation on the running backs. For play calling, special teams, Arthur Smith got to see more of his play calling, more play action, more under center looks, and more multiple tight end sets for the team. Not the full version of the offense yet, and he shouldn't. It's the spring game, but it was good what we saw yesterday. Direction is there, and the vision. Now, special teams, you had Connor Hawkins, a Baylor transfer field goal kicker. Now, special teams did hunt Ohio State last year and the year before, even when they won the championship. But Connor Hawkins, first kick, 45 yards, was good. Great sign for the fans to see. And then he had a 42-yard field goal in the fourth quarter that he made, but he missed 143 at the end of the half. When we judge by the spring game, we judge by the big games at the season and the playoff, but it was good to see him make multiple kicks from 40 plus. Bigger takeaway for the game, the defense looks legit again. Defensive line was great, and OSU has a great backup, and the future is bright at QB with Tavian St. Clair, and they found the next breakout star with Chris Henry Jr.